Ladies and gentlemen, Simon Feck here, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's Conor McGregor week, ladies and gentlemen. Las Vegas, Nevada, United States, ladies and gentlemen. The Northern Hemisphere, ladies and gentlemen. North America, Northern Hemisphere, ladies and gentlemen. Earth, ladies and gentlemen. The Milky Way, ladies and gentlemen. The universe, ladies and gentlemen. Conor McGregor, ladies and gentlemen, coming into town, ladies and gentlemen. Gonna win some tail, ladies and gentlemen. Gonna be kicking ass and taking names, ladies and gentlemen. We got media day. Media day's coming up here in about an hour or so, ladies and gentlemen. People are slowly gather, ladies and gentlemen. I'm counting on Conor McGregor, let's say 2 o'clock desert time, ladies and gentlemen. Straight ahead, the new hard rock guitar shaped. There's one in Florida just like it, ladies and gentlemen, in Hollywood, Florida, ladies and gentlemen. But they're building it. Last time I was here, ladies and gentlemen, it didn't look like a guitar, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it still doesn't look like a guitar. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Out here in Las Vegas, ladies and gentlemen, we had some trouble, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck didn't want to fly to Vegas, so I bought an airplane ticket, ladies and gentlemen. The airplane got held up in Atlanta, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't go to Atlanta. It got held up in Atlanta for a security check, ladies and gentlemen. They had to check everything. You know, for like terrorist stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So I got here late, ladies and gentlemen. Then they said that I wasn't getting a rental car today. It's tomorrow. They had that. Then we had some people that didn't bring all their equipment, ladies and gentlemen. So Simon Feck to the rescue, ladies and gentlemen. We just hooked them up with that. And then we have Hunt, the guy that lives next door to the Dung Beetles, ladies and gentlemen, in Liverpool, England, ladies and gentlemen. Bothering Simon Feck all night long, ladies and gentlemen. Some things are more important, ladies and gentlemen. If you can see way down there, ladies and gentlemen, straight ahead, the stratosphere, ladies and gentlemen. It's 900 feet tall, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck, you know, I got wings and everything. But Simon Feck, there used to be a roller coaster up there, ladies and gentlemen, going around. It's 900 feet tall, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not putting that in meters, ladies and gentlemen, even though it's simple. Like the clown says, if you're not from America, ladies and gentlemen, he doesn't like you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not putting it into meters, ladies and gentlemen. That building over there, it says Hilton over there. You can't see it, but every once in a while, maybe you will see it when we get up here. It's advertising UFC 329, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't say one thing about Conor McGregor, ladies and gentlemen. Just UFC. There it is. You can see it over there, ladies and gentlemen. Over on your right-hand side, you got the Encore and the Win, ladies and gentlemen. One of the best bartenders in the country is over there at the Win, ladies and gentlemen. He's a good friend of Simon Feck. Simon Feck knows a lot of people around here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to pull a clown, ladies and gentlemen. If people don't start getting in here, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how long I'm staying, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta be at media day here in an hour or so anyways, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that thing going down, ladies and gentlemen. Had a lot of trouble getting to this point, ladies and gentlemen. We got some stuff. This week, there is a lot of surprises, ladies and gentlemen, and you're going to be surprised. I'm telling you that, ladies and gentlemen. Having a hard time. Simon Feck's having a hard time, ladies and gentlemen. His hand is in the way over here, ladies and gentlemen. You can probably see it in the stupid guy and the reflection, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. We got some people typing some stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We're out here on the Vegas Strip, ladies and gentlemen. That's not Simon Feck holding the camera, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. That's my friend. And his first name starts with an M anyways. I can't tell you what his name is, ladies and gentlemen. The guy holding the camera right now is not Simon Feck, ladies and gentlemen. And then the guy holding the camera doesn't know how to put the stuff up on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we're just riding up down Las Vegas Boulevard, ladies and gentlemen. Like Elvis Presley used to do, ladies and gentlemen, picking up birds, ladies and gentlemen. Even when Simon Feck knows Priscilla personally, ladies and gentlemen, even though he was married to Priscilla, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up over here on the right-hand side, you're not going to be able to see it, ladies and gentlemen, will be the convention center where UFC X was scared, ladies and gentlemen, scared of the MMA holes in the gummy gang and the Feck Fest, ladies and gentlemen. They canceled it. They were scared. I can see it over there. You can't see it. How about that, ladies? Look, they have Denny's, ladies and gentlemen. You could get a Grand Slam breakfast there, ladies and gentlemen. You can get a Grand Slam breakfast there, ladies and gentlemen. Over on the left-hand side, one of the things that you don't see anymore is Circus, one of the old school, because they keep knocking them down, ladies and gentlemen, like Simon Feck knocks birds down, ladies and gentlemen. They keep knocking casinos down, ladies and gentlemen, and putting up new ones, ladies and gentlemen. There's an old stay right over there, ladies and gentlemen. That's about as old as Simon Feck is, ladies and gentlemen, straight ahead to Stratosphere. Simon Feck has a comedian friend that's there all the time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm probably going to gather some friends up. We're going to go see him if he's there, ladies and gentlemen. His name's Adam Hunter anyways, ladies and gentlemen. He's the official UFC comedian, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck knows him, ladies and gentlemen. We got 10-9 in here, ladies and gentlemen. Some like it, some don't, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck had a hard time getting here, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we got a change here, ladies and gentlemen. I should, you know what? I'm going to have to pull over and let Mr. M drive, ladies and gentlemen, so I can put stuff up on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty soon we're going to turn around and we're going to do the strip backwards, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take you to T-Mobile, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of things got switched because they're still working on the Meta Apex, ladies and gentlemen. The Meta Apex is like a ghost town right now, ladies and gentlemen. Everything this week is going to be done at T-Mobile because they're still working. They're still working on the Apex, ladies and gentlemen. And Simon Feck rolled by there. Now listen to me. Simon Feck rolled by there, and there was two. I'm not kidding you. 2 construction workers there, ladies and gentlemen. So it's ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. Over on the left-hand side, ladies and gentlemen, you got the world's largest gift shop, ladies and gentlemen. And where you live, there's probably another one that's also the world's largest. And then on another continent, they have the world's largest gift shop, ladies and gentlemen. And then on the other side of the other hemisphere, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure they have the world's largest. They probably have the world's largest gift shop in Arkansas, ladies and gentlemen. I guarantee you they do, ladies and gentlemen. But you can see the stratosphere, ladies and gentlemen, 900 feet tall, ladies and gentlemen. In case you don't know, that's 90 stories, ladies and gentlemen. And let me also tell you, it doesn't look that tall, ladies and gentlemen, from here. You got that building next to it, looks like it's 20 stories, ladies and gentlemen. And that one's supposed to be 90. I don't know. There used to be a roller coaster up there, Simon Feck went on the roller coaster years ago. That it went wrapped 3 times around it. It was very boring, but very scary, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck went on some of the other stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Down this way is where they hold the old signs of Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck was a special guest there with some other special guests, ladies and gentlemen. They gave us a special tour of it one time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you that, ladies and gentlemen. Coming down here is where you have your cathedrals or wedding chapels, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck's going to be getting married there, ladies and gentlemen, in October, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to have an array of famous people with him, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine that, Simon Feck, the man with a bird beak, ladies and gentlemen. In October, here in Vegas, ladies and gentlemen, in one of these stupid chapels, ladies and gentlemen. The only place we can find where they marry a bird, ladies and gentlemen. They wouldn't marry a bird to any bird, ladies and gentlemen, except here in Vegas. They do anything here in Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. And right up here, also a good friend of Simon Feck is Rick, ladies and gentlemen. Rick from the Pawn Stars, you know. I'm not lying. Simon Feck looks like he's in the bus-only lane, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck, you know, he's got a bird brain, ladies and gentlemen. I thought I was going to turn around bus-only lane, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. We're going to be turning around. We got Conor McGregor going to be coming up, let's say, in about, let's see what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. 5 hours, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck's going to come face to face with Conor McGregor, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck's going to be poking his beak in his face, ladies and gentlemen. I'll peck his head. I'll peck the rest of his head bald, ladies and gentlemen. See him walking in last night in that video last night. Simon Feck didn't know there was stuff going on at T-Mobile yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. We're down there, the old school Vegas down here too, ladies and gentlemen. Gonna turn around and get one more swoop of Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. I guarantee you Hunt's not in here after crying for hours and hours when Simon Feck was having a hard time, ladies and gentlemen. No left-hand turn. Right here, there used to be some old signs. The old Vegas signs from like the 1950s and stuff. Looks like they took them down. They just keep getting rid of more and more and more of the old Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. You know, stuff way back when Clown was a young boy, ladies and gentlemen, back in the 1950s, ladies and gentlemen. Left lane must turn left. Simon Feck's going to turn left, and we're going to do the strip one more time, ladies and gentlemen. And then we're going to go to Simon Feck's hotel, ladies and gentlemen, and go in Simon Feck's hotel room, ladies and gentlemen, and shoot from the view in Simon Feck's hotel room, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, this guy next to me, his first name starts with an M. We're calling him M. He doesn't know how to put people's comments up on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Luckily, there's chat replay, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck's pissed, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a big idiot in the car with him. Conor McGregor is going to kick Max Holloway's ass up and down the cage, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you right now. Over here's the art district of Las Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. Art district coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Sort of over a little bit in the front to the left, ladies and gentlemen. Front to the left over that way. You got Chinatown, ladies and gentlemen. And Simon Feck goes over there to the voodoo place, ladies and gentlemen. You got that right, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck hangs out at the voodoo place. I'm not specifically naming it, ladies and gentlemen, but if you know, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck, they have skulls there, ladies and gentlemen. And they got a skull of Simon Feck, ladies and gentlemen. I'm guaranteeing you go there, ladies and gentlemen, and ask for the Simon Feck skull. And they'll point you to the Simon Feck skull, and you get your picture with the Simon Feck skull, ladies and gentlemen. A little voodoo thing, shrunken head, ladies and gentlemen. Right there, it says Art Way. You see that? Simon Feck knows what he's talking about right there. That street sign right there says Art Way, ladies and gentlemen. This is the art district of Vegas. Simon Feck is basically bored of Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. Been coming here for years and years and years, ladies and gentlemen. Covering the UFC for years, ladies and gentlemen. And here's another thing I've been wanting to explain this one for a long time too. There's not one. There's about 2 or 3 that are actually like stars, right? But when you guys think like, I don't know, name a UFC fighter, and then say is a star. Well, Simon Feck hangs out with other people in other categories, other genres, or whatever you want to say. Simon Feck hangs out with stars, ladies and gentlemen. These people are peons, ladies and gentlemen. They ain't nothing to me, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if it doesn't pick up, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get into a car accident, ladies and gentlemen, and wake this place up, ladies and gentlemen. I do all this work for you, ladies and gentlemen, all these hours of streaming, and you don't appreciate Simon Feck, ladies and gentlemen. I built this community. I built the Simon Feck community, ladies and gentlemen. I built it, and I built it good, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears and wishbones, ladies and gentlemen. Cracking skulls, ladies and gentlemen. I built this place, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Let's take a left here, ladies and gentlemen. Don't even wait for the green light. We just go. Okay? Simon Feck knows a lot of the Metro Police, ladies and gentlemen. We've gotten in trouble here with rock stars before, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Look at this street right here. This looks closed. Let's go down this one, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, if this doesn't pick up, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be out, ladies and gentlemen. There's the Discord on there. Hopefully that's not coming through, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be pissed, ladies and gentlemen. We got Discord stuff coming through here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my God, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, most of the time, I don't drive when I'm out here, ladies and gentlemen. I have idiots driving for me, ladies and gentlemen. They're cleaning this area up, too. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have some special stuff here, ladies and gentlemen. A certain somebody. We never said that it was going to be a secret, right? We never said amongst ourselves it was going to be a secret. Nobody said anything. Somebody dropped the hint the other day, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we got some special stuff coming up this week for you. And starting today, ladies and gentlemen, when you just start looking around a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, some things got messed up too. Yeah, it was going to be bigger and badder, ladies and gentlemen. Let's call it the soft start this week, ladies and gentlemen. As the week progresses, I'm sure everybody's going to know about it and be talking about it, ladies and gentlemen. I just went live because Hunt, the soiled men's briefs collector, ladies and gentlemen, the guy from Liverpool who lives next door to dung beetles, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you this right now, ladies and gentlemen. He was bothering Simon Feck left and right, ladies and gentlemen. There's the art district again, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck doesn't know what he's doing, I'm telling you that. But right straight ahead, the stratosphere, ladies and gentlemen, that's where Adam, our buddy Adam, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Hunter, ladies and gentlemen, does his show a lot. I get a lot of free tickets there, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Get a lot of free tickets for that. I should be seeing him. Should be seeing Don Fry here at the bar pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen.